Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to 2026. Here's the first video. And it's kind of an exploring video, I would say, and it's kind of a bit of a documentary. But I'm in Glastonbury once again, as you can tell by the wonderful graffiti. And we're going to talk about the myths of Glastonbury. We're going to head to Chalice Well, and then up the tour once again. And it's absolutely freezing today, so let's get into it. Well, Glastonbury is a place full of mythology, and we're going to be looking at some of the myths. Now, I am walking through the town centre, through undersized streets, near the King William pub. So, we're going to head towards Chalice Well, but look through town first and see if anyone wants to talk to us. Here we are heading out to the old marketplace next to the Hemp of Avalon. Got some Celtic artwork ready. You can see the old, marketplace square. And obviously we all know Glastonbury more from the music festival, but this is it. It's a very quirky little place. A lot of Celtic mythology, Wiccan here. And you can see on this charity shop right here. Don't think it's open today, but £4. If it was open, I think I would have bought a Glastonbury festival poster for £4 odd. We've got the 2023 ones. Arctic Monkeys, Guns N' Roses, Elton John. But we're not here for Glastonbury Festival. We're here for the myths and the tour. You can see behind that tree there's the tour. And if we zoom out slightly, there's the Abbey. We've done these two in previous videos. We will be doing a tour again today. So we're just going to move down the street a little bit. There are a couple of things I want to look at on the way back. We are heading towards Weirall Hill, so there is St Margaret's Chapel before we head into the town. And have a look at that. I think that's one of the first churches in Glastonbury, which has got a legend to it, so we'll get back to that. So we're going to head to Weirall Hill. Joseph was a biblical figure who took the body of Jesus after the crucifixion. According to some legends, he was actually Jesus' uncle and had visited Britain before with Jesus in pursuit of his interest in the tin trade. It appears that there's actually a strong Jewish presence in the west of England at the time, and many of the tin miners may have been Jewish settlers. Joseph thought it was prudent to flee Palestine, and after many travails, he came to Britain with a company of followers. He brought with him the Holy Grail, the cup used by Jesus at the Last Supper. When Joseph came to Britain, he was granted land at Glastonbury by the local king. When he arrived at Glastonbury, Joseph stuck his thorn staff in the earth, whereupon it rooted and burst into bloom. A cutting from the first tree was planted in the grounds in the later Glastonbury Abbey, where it continued to bloom every year thereafter at Christmas time. What happened to the Holy Grail is another matter. Some of the legends have it that Joseph buried the Grail at the foot of Glastonbury Tor, whereupon a spring of blood gushing forth from the ground. There is a well at the base of the Tor, Chalice Well, and the water that issues from it does indeed have a reddish tinge from the iron content of the water. This is something I've never been before, but this is a hidden gem. We just went from another room which was like Amorous house, so we're going to look around the rest of the site now and see what's left here, and then go into the chapel. See, like another old room. Looks really nice. These got to be all living spaces. St Margaret's Chapel and Royal Magdalena Almshouse. Is this the old hospital? Peace offering prayers. Like you've seen when I was going over the myth of Joseph Amherst here, here is just, it's incredible. This is, I'm years of coming here, I've never seen this before, I can tell you that. And this is why it's turned back into an exploring video. Terracotta jugs, medieval measurers. How have I not known this was here? How? Even all the research, I didn't even know this was here. We'll go through this walkway now. It's a private area, but this is quite a nice mural. Looks like Weirell Hill by here. But God, how did I not know this even existed? This is just a nice little find. It's peaceful. That's what I might say. This is a very, very peaceful thing to find. Houses back onto it, but let's head back down into the chapel itself. Well, that was cool. That was a nice little find, and we learned a bit about Joseph and Mithia. We're gonna head back towards town to the Godess temple, and up towards Chalice Well Gardens. We're gonna hear more about Glastonbury's myths. Here we are, we're in the Glastonbury experience. The Godess temple up there. Little shops and cafes. It's a very pretty part of Glastonbury. Head down here. Statue by here of the wise woman of Wookey Hill and a good boy. And then up there is the Godess temple. As you can see, that big purple building. We've seen it before. You can see the Georgia Pilgrim as well, one of the oldest pubs in Britain. But we are heading up town towards the Chalice Well Gardens. Take some photos there and then see where else is up here in Glastonbury once again. It's not really much I can show you at the moment because you've seen it all already until I get to Chalice Well now. Apart from the church or the chapel, when we get to Chalice Well we're going to go over to some myths in Chalice Well, and I've got a nice big one to go up the tallways about the Goddess of Glastonbury. But let's head towards Chalice Well Gardens now. God, the Rifleman's Arms. I remember the first time I come here, before I even done YouTube, I think I've had one of the worst porters beers I accidentally tried. Like, I'm not a huge fan of porters, but that pub scarred me. And I don't drink it anymore, so I won't be drinking the porter there. But we are heading towards the tour now. We are kind of halfway there. Still got to get to the Chalice Well first, which you can see is around the bend. But yeah, it's been nice coming back. It's been 2 years since the last time to Glastonbury, I think. It would be this year. But the Great Western Mint is pretty mint. Some of the artwork as well. It's mad, it's wonderful. But yeah, the Chalice Well Garden there on the foot of the tour, and then we are going to head up the tour once again. So I'm outside Chalice Well Garden now, so I'm going to be a little bit quiet, but we're going to take in some of the peaceful quietness as well as learning about the legend of King Arthur and Glastonbury, because this is Avalon after all. Arthur and Glastonbury goes back for at least to the early Middle Ages. In the late 12th century, the monks of Glastonbury Abbey announced that they had found the grave of Arthur and Guinevere. According to the monks, an excavation found a stone inscribed, "Here lies Arthur, King." Below the stone they found bones of a large man and a smaller skeleton of a woman. The monks reburied the bones in the grounds of the abbey, where they were very handy drawn for pilgrims. The Holy Grail, the object of Arthur's question is said to be buried beneath Glastonbury Tor, and has also been linked to Chalice Well at the base of the Tor. One final myth of Arthur at Glastonbury. The landscape around Glastonbury is said to be have moulded and shaped so that the features such as roads, churches and burial mounds create a zodiac character, repelled with the Arthurian symbology. Like many Arthurian myths, so much is open to interpretation and your own beliefs or disbeliefs. And that was Chalice Well Garden and the legend of King Arthur and Glastonbury. So we're going to hear more about the Glastonbury Goddess in a bit while we walk up to the Tor. So let's head towards the Tor now, which is right next door. And there's a well by here as well, another freshwater well. You've seen this before in a video. This is the toll house. The Shetland Mallet Turnpike Company. Lovely building. Walking up now the south side of Glastonbury Tor. You're going to get two legends here today. You're going to get the Goddess and the one about the Tor itself and the lake lines, which is quite fascinating, and how sacred the Tor is, because it is a very interesting thing. Glastonbury Tor is. We walked it once in part 1 of my series here at Glastonbury, so could part 3 be the final part? We're going to head up here though, because Glastonbury is linked to two places on sacredness with King Arthur. A place in Cornwall, I keep forgetting his name, and Caerleon, which is another video of mine, based in Newport. But my video is about the Romans, more the mythology. But could that be a video? So let's head up the Tor and hear the story about the Goddess, and on the way back down, we're going to hear the story about the Tor itself. This is The Goddess by Cassie Jones, who is the founder of the Goddess Temple. Glastonbury is one of those places where the very shape of the landscape speaks to the people who visit or live upon her slopes. For it is here that the body of the Goddess can be seen outlined in the contours of the small group of hills which rises out of the flat Summerland meadows. The Goddess appears in different forms to different people, and her nature changes with the seasons. She presents her many faces to those with eyes to see. For some people, the whole island is her spread and birth-giving body. Approaching Glastonbury from southeast and the direction of Baltonsborough and Butley, many people have noticed that the side view of the Isle of Avalon presents her profile of a giant goddess laying down lensways before them across the moor. Stone down is the head of the goddess. Sinking back into the landscape, the tall rises up as her left breast, and her rib cage, Chalice Well, is her pregnant belly. Bear Lane marks her hips, and Wirral Hill is her left thigh, and the leg and her foot is sinking into the ground towards the nearby town of Street. Moving around to the west of the island, in the direction of Mere, the spread of the body of the goddess can be seen from the bank of the River Brew. The pregnant womb of Chalice Well is in the centre, with the breast of the Tor rising behind. Her right breast is flattened, falling down to the side of the Paradise Lane. Her right leg is tucked beneath itself at St Edmund's or Windmill Hill. The left leg of Wirral stretches down to the right. From here, the head of Stone Down is not visible. From above, her whole body is visible. In the landscape of Glastonbury below, her womb lies to the ruins of Glastonbury Abbey, the site of the first Christian church in Britain, predominantly situated in the vagina of the birth-giving goddess. The remains of St Mary's Chapel in the crypt of the Abbey lie in this, the potent and creative parts of the goddess's body.
Well, we're on top of Glastonbury Tor. I'm standing here because it's very, very windy if I move from by here. As I'm going to show you. I am high up, bear in mind, but I've got the overlooking views of the Mendip Hills down to the south, southern England down here, Wiltshire, and then behind me is back to Glastonbury, over to Hinkley Point Nuclear Power Station and South Wales, Bristol, and then that's more the northern look into the Midlands. I think you can see the Midlands in the distance. But you have just heard the story of the goddess of Glastonbury, and on the way down you will be hearing the story of the Tor, the myths behind that. But so let's head back down now into Glastonbury and hear the story and the myths of the Tor and the Leylands.
A millennium ago, the water levels was much higher, and the Tor would indeed have been an island. Avalon was also called the Isle of Glass, which does suggest similarities to the name Glastonbury. It is said that beneath the hill there's hidden caves, through which you can pass into the fairy realm of Annwn. There dwells Gwyn ab Nudd, the lord of the Celtic underworld, with the cauldron of rebirth. Gwyn ab Nudd rode out with the wild hunt each Samhain, or Halloween, which was the portent of death and bad luck to all, and investigations have discovered a network of caves inside what is believed the varies, with the tales including dragons and fairy core. There's many beliefs associated with the Tor, which relate to the Earth's energy and ley lines. The St. Michael ley line goes through the Tor, and many believe that it's particularly powerful and is concentrated in Glastonbury. In Beltane, Finn, a druid, is attuned to these energies.
And here I have descended the Tor, and one last step back towards the bottom now. I'm going to head back into Glastonbury to round off this video, because it has been a bit of a different one. We've seen Chalice Well at last, so this is part 3. It could be the final part of a great trilogy. if I don't fall over by it, because it is very, very frosty around here. Here we are, heading back into town. I'm going to grab a couple of shots of some of the shops. I think I'm going to show you some of the best shops in Glastonbury, and I think I'm going to round off the video then. But this open by appointment. Museum of Mystery and Magic. So much hidden stuff in Glastonbury, it's literally like quite unbelievable. But let's head back into the centre now. I think it's down this street. Travel on Biggs? Nope, I think it's the next one. But yeah, let's head back to the centre of Glastonbury now. And let me show you some shops which are great around here. If you are into more like the hippie side, spiritual side stuff, this is the place to go. First thing I want to show you quickly is here. Here's one of the Glastonbury holy thorns. Next to the Trenical, I think that's how you say it, labyrinth, which is fenced off. I think they are letting the land heal around it. But here's one of the Glastonbury holy thorns. The Trenical labyrinth. Built to celebrate Glastonbury receiving its town charter from the Queen Anne in 1705, we invite you to walk this labyrinth in the spirit of reconciliation and harmony which was made. It is closed until spring though, so maybe in the future. But here it is outside of one of Glastonbury's churches. And I think this is the place where to end the video. There are some of the myths of Glastonbury as well as Chalice Well Garden. But I hope you have enjoyed the video. First video back in the new year. Will be more, I promise. They are starting to take more time now, these videos, just because I want to put more into it, more research. But if you did enjoy, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Now let's get some food.